This is alternate future of the Fallout, episode 7. We're going to get into it by a new country forming, like so. It's pretty simple, and you're going to just like so. That's just weird kind of thing. And this weird kind of thing is where we're gonna have another country. Like so. And then we have the border. Also like so. And these two capitals are going to go right there and click south. Is nice. Just like so. Now we have two new countries. We are going to see this blue country expand we're going to see this blue country expand rather nicely. Name it. Do that like so. Right there, nicely. And they're rather big. Like so. And now we're gonna have a new nation forming up here. And kind of cut across. Go up into up here and kind of go like this. And a new country right there formed. And then capital. Second link. Right here in the south, just like so. And people aren't very happy if the red team just kind of failing to we're going to see a country breaking off of this blue country as they expanded a lot. Just like so. I'm gonna wrap right here. And then that's the border. Just like so. And then the capital. Just have it right. To right here. I want to see another nation splitting off. A new country is going to form. Will break off from the blue and go in their separate way. Just like so. Now it's kind of like that. Capital is going to be in the north part of the country. Just like so. And we're actually going to see another break off of the blue. And they're going to be right here. Just like so. And then their capital will be like central. Right in the center. And then people are gonna grab up the rest of this territory. Just like so. And then red is going to grab the rest of this. Weirdly. And just like so. Now they have a weird enclave. That looks very weird. But hey, that's what makes it look good. Totally. Next, we're going to be seeing a terrorist group form in this pink country. And they are going to basically live in the desert. And they're just going to kind of slowly swoop in to the actually populated areas. And then they come into contact with the military. They're getting beat pretty badly. But they launch a counter-offensive, and they've taken part of the coast. But in doing so, they lose most of their land. And then they lost some progress, but then they gained it back and actually are able to get through there. And it's looking pretty good. And while this is going on, we're going to see this lime country sweep in and absolutely just destroy it. And now, the lime has that. And we're going to continue to see war happen on these fronts, and they're gonna make a good offensive, like so. And this is kind of what it looks like. But now we're going to see the lime joining in to get revenge for collapsing their empire. And they are going to sweep in. And as pink readjusts their troops, they lose ground. Just like so. Now this is basically what they look like. They push them back so they're not too close to the capital. As the red sweeps through. And then we see it move closer, and they're going to push back. Going to make great offensive. And they're going to do good. They're going to spearhead to the capital. It's a bold move. They try to encircle. They're about to get it, but they just escape. And they encircle instead. And so they're pushing through. At this point, they are just going to live in the desert. And live in the desert, basically. And then they cut off these supply lines. And then it's basically just a battle for the capital. As these troops try to help, it's too late. And they split the capital down evenly. As they fight for a little bit longer, it's to nothing. Now we're going to look at a little kind of peace treaty. This is the peace treaty. There's 4 countries that are kind of like actually made out of it. You might be wondering, what are these green dots? Well, they're puppets of the lime. The lime are really big now. Honestly, probably the most dominant power as well. And so the pink are puppets as well as this blue country. These aren't puppets though. And that's what it looks like so far. Just like so. And next, we are going to see a new country pop up here. And there are going to be a kind of darkish pink. It's more like purple. Just like so. And then we have their border. And border's done. Now we have a new country. Our capital, it's kind of have our own coast. Right here. Like so. This is kind of what it's looking like so far. Moving on to South America. Just as the peace was starting to settle, we are going to see this, the war settle, whatever. We are going to see this lime kind of country invade into this pink country. They're going to swiftly take this part of it, and are going to keep pushing up farther. The pink were not prepared at all. But now, after they've readied their armies, it's kind of like this. They make a landing, and they cut a bunch of troops off. Like so. Now they start to make advances, just like so. But the green are still fighting back. And they get a little encirclement. And then they kind of push back in a little more. And then kind of wrap around the coast. And kind of try to take the capital. And they're going to cut off as well. But the lime are going to try to push their way through. But they are getting kind of sandwiched. But they are able to break through just to be encircled. Now it's not looking good. Their capital's encircled. But their army breaks them out. And then this is kind of what it looks like. That a bunch of troops was destroyed. And another large group of troops. And then at this point, they don't want to fight. And so they're going to have a peace treaty. And this is what the peace treaty looks like. And we're going to actually see our first war in Asia as a war sparks out over a dispute of land. And this dispute of land in question is this part. And so it leads to war. And they ready their armies. They ready their armies And the sign gets a really quick leap, like they were kind of preparing for it. But when the gray gets settled in, they start to push forward. Take all their land back. They are really trying to kind of make a little encirclement, and they crush all of that tin. And gray is definitely the stronger one. So this is a tough battle. But they do get a really good encirclement. And so that was really helpful. Now they're pushing back in, and it's at this point. And they're going to push back in. They got to make a move, so they try to get a powerful cut. They try to cut in, but use to no mass, and they lost a lot of land. They're going to be trying one last thing. They're just going to push to the capital, and they actually take it. Surprisingly, it was undefended. And so they took the capital. And now it's a lot easier. There's only a little bit of resistance. They're going to try and get their capital back to no mass. They land on the island and take it over, as well as they are gone. Now let's look at a peace treaty. Okay, this is the peace treaty. So the old, like this blue kind of country has been forced to move their capital, as this is no longer their capital. We have a new red nation, we have a new lime nation, also as well as a blue nation. This is what it's kind of looking like. Okay, we are going to go over here to this brown country. A man found a document regarding fascism, and he reads about it. He really likes this idea, so he wants to take it, and he wants to become a leader, a fascist leader. And so when the next election comes up, he wants to be elected. But this other leader, this monarchy, has a lot more popularity. And so he hires a hitman to assassinate the monarch. It went successfully, and he was elected as the leader. And so he follows the exact understanding of the fascist kind of book, and he has now made those changes to his country. And now we have a fascist country in the middle of Europe, just like so. That is pretty significant. All the other countries, they don't really know what that is, so they really just don't bat an eye at it. And they really just don't care. It's their choice, whatever, like so. And we are going to be seeing this kind of nation, this like kind of maroon nation, expand downward a bit. Just like so. You're gonna see. Just like so. Nice. And now they got some expansion. Next, we're gonna see a new country form right about here. They're kind of follow kind of coast, kind of like so, and then they're gonna kind of to that, kind of. It's going to be a big country, but most of it is just desert. It is just all desert. I'm kind of clean this up a little bit. This is a big country. A really big country. Honestly, no, it's definitely not the biggest. That probably goes to the lion that just got done for. Yeah, that probably goes to that. Maybe India and this orange country have competition, but this other line is also kind of good. But overall, it's not really. Yeah. Next, their capital is going to be on the coast. Like so. And we're going to see this island colonized. Well, not really colonized, but it's going to be taken. Just like so. Yeah, I like that color. Maybe like more vibrant color. Sure. And their capital will be like the south. Just like so. This is what it's looking like. The British gonna take this. So, take the island. Oh, it's not. Okay, just like so. Nice. This is kind of what our world is looking like. We have a new terrorist group. We have a new government entirely, which is pretty significant. Another thing we're going to be seeing is we're going to see a new alliance made between the red and the lime as they work together in the war. Now they're working together in alliance. I don't know. Now we have that covered. And now we are going to move on over here. We're going to see a new country. And it's going to be decently big. They're going to have Cyprus. Just like so. And they're going to kind of do this and then kind of like that. And that's the border. And then the capital, it'd be funny if I put it at Cyprus, but no. I'll do it like here. Kind of south area. Nice. Okay. I think I'm going to end it there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Join my Discord server and check out D's Pro. And with that, bye.